Good morning, welcome to today's Aussie coffee chat, and it's a double hoodie day, and I've got my little hat on as well. Now, daft question for those of you which are on this episode live, can you just let me know that you can hear the audio nice and loud and clearly? That would be fantastic. Right, on to today's topics, and as you can see, I've already got my notes up on the screen for today. Right, what we're going to be covering is the Mini Vector was launched yesterday. The Wombat was maidened with her new motor, and by God, it was loud. That goes down as the loudest model I have ever owned, and trust me, I've had some fast and loud models, but that was a whole new league of craziness. And thank you, Lauren. Yeah, 10 by 10, brilliant. Clouds Maiden will be the main topic of today because we had, well, basically in short, it flies absolutely fantastic. And I've got a 10-minute flight of FPV flight flying around manually. Brilliant. I just enjoyed it loads. And I will get that rendered up this morning. That's my first task after we've done today's RC Coffee Chat. Of course, sticking some batteries on as well. We do have a note around the Skywing Edge. And today is a flying day as well. So that's the topics for today, and I'm just reading the chat on the left-hand side. Yes, normally I've got a dehumidifier in here, which warms up the office because I leave it running overnight, blah, blah, blah. But it's in the kitchen at the moment because we're completely renovating the kitchen, literally, back to the stone. So I am suffering a bit in here at the moment. Right. Oh, Switzerland is awake, and good evening over in New Zealand. Good evening over in the US. And very good morning if you're here from the United Kingdom. So on to today's first topic. Now, as you know, I'm a big Eagle Tree Vector fan, and they have been released the Micro Vector. Now, I would strongly suggest that at least for a couple of weeks, maybe a little bit longer, that you hold off on a Mini Vector. And then the reason for this is that this is me with my software developer hat on, and also I muck around with a bit of hardware as well, but that's beside the point. It is brand new kit. Now, I know the guys over at Eagle Tree have had these units out on testing, etc. But I have to say, just like from my point of view, I'm not going to buy one. Okay, and I won't buy one for quite a while. And the reason for that is purely because, for all intents and purposes, it's new kit. And let someone else have if there are any bugs, let them find any bugs or issues with it. Okay, over the next couple of weeks, and then if you are in the market for a Micro Vector, then I definitely suggest that you should go and get one. But for me personally, unfortunately, I've now got 3 of the normal Eagle Tree Vectors. They are absolutely fantastic, but on the flip side, that is brand new kit, and I would personally suggest not buying one and just holding off for a short while. Just wait for a couple of software updates, etc., to come through. It's the same with any brand new product like this, and it doesn't matter if it's a flight controller or new software or whatever. Let someone else be on the leading edge and find out any unplanned features or undocumented features, as I like to call them. So Wayne, let's let the bugs get worked out first. And again, no matter how much you do in beta testing or in alpha testing, is that there's still going to be unknown things in there. So like the normal Vector is very, very well known now. It works rock solid. Saying that, I do have an issue with my Vector, and we'll cover that today. Now that, of course, could be the wetware. Rather than the hardware and the software, it could be me being the wetware. And we'll cover that in a few moments' time. So that was topic number 1. Now I need to move my show notes off to one side, so I've got them to hand. Right, so next topic is the Wombat. So she is here next to me. I did a little episode. If you're in the Facebook group, you would have already seen the episode on this one. And by God, it fucking loud. There's no other words for it. It was echoing off the trees like 3 fields away. And the reason for that is a combination of 2 things. Number one, the motor is just obscene. Brilliant. It definitely did see a massive speed increase. But the other issue, and I'll just point this out, you'll see this in the other video, is that you'll see where the prop is, and there's very little gap here between the propeller and the back of the wing, which causes a lot of noise in short. So I'm going to take this motor off, take the motor mount and turn it round the other way so it pushes the motor out a bit, and put a slightly smaller motor on it, higher KV I hasten to add, with ironically the same propeller, and then dig the battery bay down forwards a bit just to balance it back out again. It was fast, but it was loud, like the loudest model I have ever flown, and trust me, I've had some loud models before, and that was just that goes down in history for me as being the loudest model I've ever flown. Thank you, Wayne, for your comment there. I've just seen it. And yes, I did swear, Peter. This is Flightline chat, so of course there's going to be some swear words and some extremely bad humour included in these episodes as well. Right, on to the clouds. Now, I don't... well, we saw the failed launch. Oh, well, you may have seen the failed launch. Let me go and grab that on here. Now, I'm only just paying Dave back for me posting me with a video on Facebook trying to do the compass calibration. And of course, for the compass calibration, you have to stand there and rotate the model and turn around in a big circle and stuff like that. And yes, you do look like a plonker. So Dave, I've repaid you for that one. But on a very, very serious point, I would definitely like to say thank you to Dave for his help with his launches yesterday. Yeah, everything went extremely well yesterday, and that obviously I've picked out the one bad one. But on the flip side, we had about 6 flights with it, and Dave was absolutely fantastic. So a massive hat tip to Dave. There is a link to Dave's YouTube channel up in the top left-hand corner, and if you look on Dave's channel, you'll find like me and him with the Hornets. Chucking those around, and there's another one. If you watch one of Dave's videos, there's a Hornet launch, and you'll see me in the background, sat in my chair, doing a side launch, and how I recover that launch after it goes in the sky. I still don't know how I did it. And I chose that picture on purpose just to pay back Dave. To be honest, you know what it is. So yeah, that was an unscheduled landing which we had with her. Do note that we were running with 10,400 milliamp hours, 5200 packs sat in the front of it as well. And now there are a couple of notes here. Now, number one, I need to go and get back my notes for this. And number one, so in short, basically it flies fantastically well. It makes a lovely, and I mean a lovely noise in the sky. Because of those 11x7 props on the front, it is very quiet. Also, she does make a swoosh noise as well. It was getting quite addictive bringing it across in front of me, just to hear it like just chomping through the air. It was a really nice noise which she makes. By the way, this is totally not a line of sight model, but I could let you off if you bought one for line of sight just to make the swooshy noise go. Swooshy noises go in front of you. Right, now I'm warming up a bit. Dave's launch, we've been uncovered, and like I said, I couldn't have got through yesterday without Dave being there, especially for a maiden, or it turned out to be repetitive maidens after going tweaking stuff to get it to fly. Now, we did run into quite a big issue. Now, let me just make the point here. So I've got this photograph there. Now, my head's in the way, so let me just turn myself off and move that down. So that line there, now I was completely wrong on the C of G. The C of G is actually here, and we did then end up needing to put not one but two 5200 battery packs in the front. That then means that we obviously did need to So that does mean that we can run more battery than I was expecting. I thought the CFG was back here. That was complete rubbish. And the CG is actually here, and it flies great with 250, 200, 4S packs in there. And that does mean that you could very easily fly around with 20,000 milliamperes or more in this model. That is perfectly possible now. So me adding tail weight, I was completely wrong on that one, so apologies for that. But we can also see that we've got the vector here, and that is 8 inches from the CFG line here to the front of the vector. Now, what was actually happening, so let's turn the web camera back on, and you're going to have to see if I've got something to explain this. We'll use, let's choose something a little bit bigger. Oh, there you go, some Yoo-hoo piss. So imagine that is the clouds. What happened is that, number one, again, I freely admit my mistakes. We actually did launch her in 2D, which was stabilized mode. Yeah, whoopsie daisy, Matt. Anyway, she went off, and that's why I said, oh, look, no trim. Yeah, she went off and she flew fine. But as she went around the back of the field, she then, you wait for this, and I can tell you it was a scary as fuck moment. I really did brick it. There's brown stains all over that field now. What happened is that she'll be brought around, and then she did that by herself. And I can tell you, a model which you've spent the best part of 14, 15 hours working on, minimum, doing that in the sky. It was like, if you've ever flown a tail-heavy model, like a wildly tail-heavy model, and it just did that, and then went over and stalled. I absolutely bricked it on the flight line. I just had these horrible things of, oh my God, just keep it in the air, Matt, keep it in the air, Matt, keep it in the air, Matt, keep it in the air, Matt. You can imagine the logic going in my head, keep it in the air, keep it in the air, keep it in the air. I really did leave big ass brown stains on that field yesterday. For her to do that and then just kick over and stall, I did have enough height on it to rescue it, and thank goodness it didn't go any worse than that. And then we realised that we had 2D on, so stabilised mode on, and what was happening is that, and we started, as we then progressed throughout the day, we noticed we toned it down a bit, but what was basically happening is that you would fly along and then it would literally just do that by itself. Now, we started mucking around with some of the gains. We moved the pitch gain up from 50 to 70. That actually made it bloody worse. So that was obviously the wrong way. We then brought that back down to 50, and then we moved the vertical altitude gain down. We moved that down to 30, and that really did tame things down. But she still has this tendency to just want to lift the nose up to the point that we weren't safe to fly it any further than the field itself. So yesterday, it flies and sounds and looks absolutely amazing in the sky, but I'm actually running into a vector issue now. I did pop a ticket in yesterday with the Eagletree team. This is their response back, and I'm quite happy to share this with you. And this is what they've said. So, Matt, the location related to the CG should not be causing this. So that's few, because that's a lot of bloody wires and a unit to stick back in the front. The most likely cause is that trim has been added without retuning the receiver or incorporating trims. Now, we did add trim and we did incorporate the trim. I'm not that bad, okay? So I don't think retuning, rerunning the RX. But we did incorporate the trims. So I don't believe it's that for one iota. I really don't believe that is. So be sure to reset your gyros as well. We did that on the flight line. I'm 100% sure we did. Otherwise, the gain could be too low. Well, we put the gains up, and it exhibited that motion more than it just went straight up. Which was a bit wild. So we had to turn the gains down. So that bit, for me personally, is a little bit confusing. If these don't fix your issue, then please send us the log files. So actually, I'm just going to go and send them the log files because I've done those things above. But I will remove the wetware issue, and I'll take her out Sunday. We'll take her out, and what I'll do, I'll go back through the whole setup again. I'll completely wipe the vector and go back from point A, and then we know that we are on a flat level bed. So in summary, the clouds flew absolutely fantastically well, but we ran into a technology issue. Now that could, of course, and I strongly suspect this, it's a wetware issue, and also, just for clarity, it was a brand new vector which was being used in there. So yeah, the Artbird is dead simple, but to be honest, Jeff, I like the vectors. They are just an all-in-one solution with the OSD and the one time which I have needed the return to home in anger, it brought the Phantom home. So that is the reason why I use the vectors. And I know there are other devices out there. I even went through a series trying to find a cheaper version. But after using the vector, everything else is a pain in the rear in comparison. And I think for the support, and they were back to me the same day from Vector, from Eagle Tree, for the support and the whole package. Yeah, it's not cheap. It's 175 quid, which I don't know what that is in dollars. We'll just say $225, something like that. It is for the speed from putting everything in, from the configuration to the being at the flight line, compared to something else. It just doesn't compare for like a whole package. But I do fully appreciate that 175 quid is a lot of dosh, to say the least. So anyway, on to the good news. I do have a 10-minute flight with her, with me flying around completely in manual mode. And as you will find out later today, and I will post this in the Facebook group first, as you will find out later today, is that she flies absolutely beautifully. Something which Aero FPV had picked up, the rudder is a bit pants, and yes, I agree with him as well. I also noticed it did exhibit quite a bit of adverse yaw. There was one turn which we did when we were flying away from us, and it might have been because of the angle which I entered that turn into, but it did like do that and then kick around. It was very, very peculiar. So let me just quickly go and check on the chats on the left hand side. Eggs just in one basket thingy. Yeah, agree people. Let's keep politics out of this. I have no idea, so I will leave you chatting in the background. But good morning, Jeff, Rick, Boris, Joey, Wayne, Vex, Wolfgang, Turbo, Tyler, Lauren, Schuhacker, FPV, Tulio, and yeah, and apologies if I didn't see your name in the chat in the background. So let's move on to the other topic, which we had in here. Let me just go and check my notes to make sure I haven't missed anything. A little quick heads up. Yes, I did end up flying without any aids. It will cruise around on anywhere between 10 to 12 amps, and that's about 20 mile an hour, something like that. And also on full pelt, it drew 60 amps, give or take a few milliamps, for about 60 miles an hour. So that was very, very impressive, and also well within the tolerances of the ESCs. And after that 10-minute flight, as soon as she came down, I checked on the motors, I checked on the ESCs, and there was absolutely no heat in the motors. And I can tell you my hands were freezing, so I would have detected any heat in there. The motors were nice and cool, and the ESCs were nice and cool as well, which I was genuinely surprised about, because yes, there's holes up underneath to get some ventilation in there, but that is working really, really well. And yeah, fairly impressed. So right, on to the next topic, which is the last but one topic for today, is ironically, and I've put a link to this one in the video description. Now, as you know, I will keep a commercial aspect to this channel. If I've set that outline back in the introduction video to this YouTube channel. Now, there's a point which I want to make out. I did actually put in the Facebook group about this model, is that you can actually buy it on Hobby King for technically a little bit less. However, because I've been and collected some points up on Banggood, I think I paid up in the end about $80 for that model. And this is just like, so you are gonna, I've already been and bought it. It's not actually been dispatched yet. I bought it yesterday evening. That model is on the way to me, and we will do a review on it and see what it flies like. But here's some irony for you. Basically, exactly the same model is available on Hobby King, but I won't be mentioning Hobby King in that because I have no incentive to mention that, if that makes sense. So I'm making that note right now for you. So we will be seeing that one in the near future. We'll find out if it is worth $107, or in my case worth $86, and we'll see what it's like. As many of you know, my plan for this year is to get more into 3D, and I did do some 3D yesterday, and my prop hangs have really started to improve, and I was doing so well until I'd landed it. Oopsie-daisy, but the reactor is sat here right next to me at the moment, and I've glued her back up, and she'll be flying today. So on that topic, today is a flying day. And where's the weather? It is going to be a bit on the nippy side. Yes, it will be maximums of 3 degrees Celsius. Now, those of you which are in the United States and only work in Fahrenheit, that is not freezing temperatures. It is a bit burr here in the United Kingdom, but on the flip side, there's very, very little wind. So for me, that means it's a flying day and some sunshine as well. So today I will be taking the FMS Edge 540 out for a damn good spanking. We'll be taking the Hobby King Reactor and also the Hummer 3D out with me today. And I'll also have a nose around something else which I fancy flying as well. I'll probably take a Tech Sumo with me just to piss off the old guys as well. They don't... Oh, yeah. Let me remind you. Let me share this little story with you, and it's absolutely fucking unbelievable, right? When I first started, and I won't mention which flying club it is, and I'd gone up there and I'd learnt to fly with the AXN, and I can't remember whose video it was, but I ended up buying a Tech Sumo, and it was really curious because the guys up at this flying club is that they're all fixed wing modelers, so they like a tail and a rudder, and it was really curious actually. I got pulled to one side, okay, and I was specifically asked, so Matt, are you going to get any, sorry, and I bought a bonsai and stuff like that, and every time I went up there I would just spank the Tech Sumo around, etc., and the bonsai around, and nobody else up there flew flying wings except for maybe 2 other pilots, and obviously they're really good friends of mine now, and yeah, you know what's going to happen when someone comes up to you and says, Matt, can I just have a word with you? And you thought, well, number one, you're going to get a bollock in, or number two, they're going to pass on some information which you don't really give a shit about. And anyway, the conversation progressed, and I said, Matt, there's been some discussion, and we were curious if you were going to get a real model. I was like, what do you mean, a real model? I've already got models. They all fly, don't they? And then just led the conversation on, just trying to keep a monotone response. No, the flying wings are great and everything, and they rattled off some history about flying wings, which I frankly don't give a shit about. Yeah, that was the unofficial advice from one of the flying clubs. Matt, when are you going to get a real model? Was my response to that, but less politically, slightly more politically correct. And I said, well, I'm going to carry on flying wings. I really enjoy them. And so I will be taking a Tech Sumo up to one of the flying clubs today, and I will be making sure that she is rather fast and rather loud. I won't be taking the Wombat up there because that'll probably get me expelled from the flying club because that is just so loud. It's unreal. You'll hear it in the next county. It's ridiculous. So sorry, I wanted to share that story with you for quite a long period of time, and yeah, I just didn't know what to say at the end of it. It was just so fucked up. When you're going to get a real model, I don't know. Anyway, so if you are out flying today, have a fantastic day's flying. I will be putting a 5200 4S battery in the FMS Edge 540 for you today. That means more flight footage on that one coming out very, very shortly. And do note, frankly, I would rather be flying than sat here editing videos. So I make no apologies for the FMS Edge maiden video being late out at all, because we're all pilots here, and I'm sure that you can all 100% agree that flying itself is more fun than sat here and editing video, unless you're a video editor and that's your thing. But for me, I would, if it's a flying day, then I'd rather be flying, to be brutally honest with you. So on that note, the topics which we covered today, yes, it will do, especially with the size of the motor I've got at the back on my Tech Sumos. Right. On to today's topic. The topics which we covered today. Remember, this is a live episode and I leave all my screw-ups in. The Mini Vector was launched yesterday, I think. My personal advice for you is, I am sure they are absolutely fantastic, but as with all brand new software and devices, let someone else find out what challenges exist in it, whether they are documented or undocumented. Just literally give it a couple of weeks, and I'm sure as it's gone out into the wilds, they will find out any undocumented features in it. But I really do like the Vectors, and this is the first time I've ever run into an issue with one of my Vectors, and it could be set up, and like I strongly suspect it's the wetware side which has caused an issue. And like I said, with my challenges with the clouds, I'm just going to go back, reset everything, and go back from the beginning, and then just go from there, and then I can rule that stuff out. And it was also really good news that they'd mentioned that the Vector being so far back wasn't an issue. So yeah, that was good news. The other topic which we covered today was the Wombat goes down in history as the loudest model I have ever owned. It was right up there in like comparison to an RC jet with a turbine in it. Absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Yeah, Matt, them other pilots can't fly a wing. Well, they are bank and yank, and they are exceptionally easy to learn, and they're absolute bloody good fun in the sky as well. I really enjoy flying wings. I'm a big flying wing fan, as you may have already worked out yourself. Right, anyway, on to the Clouds Maiden. This morning, I will, after I finish today's RC Coffee Chat, I'm going to go off and edit up the Clouds. It's a manual flight, so I need to find the flight footage of the Maiden. I'll do that later today, maybe tomorrow, maybe even next week. Like I said, if tomorrow turns out it's a flying day, heck, I'm going flying. No apologies for that at all. But I will get a manual flight out with the Clouds, and as you will see, she flies absolutely amazingly well. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful flight. It doesn't need a stabilizer by any stretch of the imagination at all. And that day we did have quite a chunky headwind. I wouldn't say massive, probably about 10 to 12 miles an hour coming across the field. And we do get chucked around a little bit by it, but honestly, you don't need a stabilizer in that model because that wing is just huge and just cuts through it because of those two great big props on the front. Yeah, so Clouds. Everything went really, really well as far as the model flying in the sky, except for we've got a slight technology issue. The other note which we have is the Skywing Edge has been, and I've already been aboard it. It's on the way to me, and you will start seeing some more 3D work from myself throughout this year. One of my personal goals is to be able to prop hang properly and pull off a predetermined flight pattern in the sky and then refine it so that it actually looks half decent. That's one of my big challenges for this year. And also, in the United Kingdom, the BMFA runs several, and I'll show you that. It's my little badge. I passed my A test, my BMFA A test, which is probably a topic for a different day. Passed that quite early on, and my goal for this year is to pass my B test, which is actually relatively straightforward. It's all about maintaining height, doing a landing, doing a takeoff, and also doing an aborted landing as well, if I remember correctly. I can't remember the exact details, but I did actually cheat and read the instructor's manual, which I found on the intervals, and it was very, very curious in there. Now, one of the challenges about the B license, not the the B test, rather than the A test. The A test is, look, can this bloke hold a model in the sky? That's what it all basically boils down to. Can this person hold a model in the sky and land and take it off safely for the safety of the pilots around them? And that's what the A test basically boils down to. It's nothing complicated. It's nothing hard. I'm sure everybody here could pass that test within a couple of days, just maybe a little bit of prep. The B test is slightly more serious, and the reason why the B test is slightly more serious is because some pilots see it as the display test. So that the B test is much more advanced. There isn't any like prop hanger model or anything like that in it, but if you do get certified or pass your B test, that does mean that you are allowed to fly at display events. Now, that is not a motivation for myself at all. I just want to do it because there's a test out there and I think I can do it. So I will be doing more fixed wing like that model. And the reason for that is that I want to pass my B test, just to prove a point to myself. And if I can do that by about March, I'll be very, very happy, because that means that I would have passed my A test and my A test and my B test in 1 year, because I learned to fly. Well, I started flying in March, April time in 2016. Anyway, Skywing Edge, we mentioned that one as well. And today is a flying day. That does mean we will be taking at one of the clubs. We'll be taking up the Reactor. We'll be taking up the Edge 540, the Hummer 3D, which is sat over there. And I'd really like to take the Phoenix 2000 up there, but someone still hasn't got round to sticking the motor in the front of it. So, hey-ho. Before I go, are you flying out today? If you are out flying today, let me know what you're going to be flying in the live chat. Now, if you are watching the recorded version of this episode, let us know what you're flying today down in the comments section underneath this video. I am genuinely interested in what you're flying, and the reason for that is because you may know of a model which I don't, and I'm always curious in what your favorite model is, because like I said, I'm dealing with like new ones here, if that makes sense. But what are like the tried and tested ones? Which ones do you fly on a daily basis? Because if you're flying on a daily basis, or every time you go out to fly, for example, there's a bloody good reason why you're doing that. Probably because it flies good. Peter, does it include tree landings? No, I have not had a tree landing in quite a while. Joanne says, slope the Phoenix, Matt. I would love to slope that one, but there's no wind, in short. And also, I think it was the wrong direction as well. Absolutely scary. Oh, Lauren, you got that one flying. Brilliant. Get some video in the Facebook group. I want to see that one flying. Just stick a camera on top and chuck it. Brilliant. And and the Sky Hunter. I like the Sky Hunters. I don't think Jeff likes the mini Sky Hunter, which was bad news to me, because I always fancied one of those mini ones because they're big and you get a bigger battery in it and more flight time and stuff like that. But the micro Sky Hunter, absolutely brilliant. My one's here to be fixed because I finally ripped out the motor mount on it. Let's have a quick look. Turbo Tyler says 4 bonsai wing, wing, good man. What the is a high-tech zipper? See, this is why I'm asking. Stop typing because I'm trying to copy it. What on earth is a high-tech zipper? Sorry. Images. Oh, that looks like fun. See, I've never seen a model like that. Oh, wow. Tyler, I am very impressed. That really does look like really good fun. brilliant. I've never seen one of those. Joe says she's maiden in a balsa whack. What? Okay. That was the plan, so I didn't know what it was. Let's have a quick look. It's minus 13 degrees, will fly indoors. Fair enough. FX61! Brilliant. I love that. I love my Phantom. And Jeff, you've got a Phantom, haven't you? Not a Phantom, a Buffalo to work through. And I don't know, Jeff, if you were serious about flying the whole, just the whole, without the wings on or not. I couldn't work that one out in what I saw on Facebook. So, happy days. Let's have a quick look. Micro Sky Hunter, brilliant. Rainbow 2-wing, and a QAV 210 and a Skyhawk. Happy days. Rick, oh, you've got a clipped AXN, have you? Did you see the state of the clipped AXN from yesterday? Let me go and find the right picture of Rich. And again, my head's in the way, so let me turn me off. Which is that one there. Yeah, that's what happened. Oh, I've just moved it around. Yeah, that's what happened to Richard's, AXN yesterday as he was trying to knife edge it across the screen, across the sky, and it went splat. But don't worry, a bit of hot glue will sort that one out. Don't you worry. Let's have a quick look. Cut down. ASN running late. Cool beans screwing through there. Oh yeah, there are all new designs coming out. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Oh, and today we do need. I am now going to start a new part to the RC Coffee Chats until the second it's released. EF Extra. Bash. No! Hobby King, your website's broken again. There's no EFX Extra on there. Must have an EFX Extra. And Tom, if you are watching this, we need FPV footage of you spanking your EFX Extra around the sky. I must have an EFX Extra. Must have. I've decided that I want it more than a Tundra, and at the moment is I am buying one, and I want a red one because it's got 69 on it, and we also know that red is the fastest colour. So sorry, Hobby King, your website is broken today. EFX Extra, it just says there's no search results. No, your search returned no results. Sad face. I want an EFX Extra. Right, anyway, today's RC Coffee Chat's gone on far too long. Gentlemen and ladies, thank you for joining me for today's RC Coffee Chat. I really do appreciate it. If you're out flying today, have a fantastic day's flying, no matter what you're flying, including a flying wing. And on that note, I'm going now. I'm going to go and get the video rendered up of the Clouds FPV. Manual flight around, I will put that in the Facebook group. A shameless plug for the Facebook group. If you're not in that yet, underneath this video description, there's a link to facebook.com/groups/rag the nuts off. Click the join button. One of us will pick up your request, and I do my best to post all episodes in the Facebook group first. Sometimes by several days, sometimes by about an hour or two. Just depends what's being worked on here in the background. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, nip across to FaceBalls, click on the join button. One of us will pick up your request. And if this is your first time here for an RC Coffee Chat, number one, apologies. This is a slightly longer episode than normal, but we did have a large number of topics to cover. And if you're not already subscribed, underneath this video, next to my name where it says Matthew Ogborn, press the red button so you subscribe. And if you press the little bell icon, you'll get notified the second the next episode has been published to YouTube. And on that note, from myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for joining me for today's RC Coffee Chat. Still drinkable. Brilliant. On that note, I'm going. Cheerios!